ready. This is going to be exciting.
And we got car restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Well, good evening, race fans. It is week number 5 of the Alexander PC ARCA West Series, which means it is time for the one and only road course of the season. Tonight, the drivers of Goat Locker head to Lime Rock Park for a unique challenge with some left and right turns. This will present a chance for someone to possibly steal a win and lock their way into the playoffs. We will be bringing you every lap of the action live right here on V-Speed. Thank you for tuning in this evening. My name is Daniel Cunningham. Alongside me up here in the booth, running production and co-commentating, Bradley Cooper. And as always, those cameras provided by the legendary Dougie Beard. Bradley, this is something that we're not really used to seeing. Lime Rock, kind of a new track to the Goat Locker schedule here. Something that I don't even know if we've run it at all here at Goat Locker. It's definitely not a mainstay like some of the others. You can see the track map there, 1.5 mile long track, 7 turns, bit of a high-speed road course. How are you feeling for this one this evening?
Well, it is an exciting racetrack, but I think it's going to push the skill level of a lot of these AM drivers because it is unique. It's got a lot of elevation changes. There's a crest there on the hill between turns 6 and 7. And if you're not careful, you can come up over that and actually leave the ground with some of these tires. It's going to be an upsetting transition to the car. And if you're not directly straight when you come over top of that, you absolutely can end up in the grass, or even worse, take out 7 or 8 cars. It's a blind hill. But the long straightaway into turn 1, that's another part of this racetrack that we see a lot of calamity. And I know that it's very narrow here. There's very few overtake opportunities. Drivers are going to have to be very patient for these 50 laps.
Absolutely correct. You know, I don't know that I've ever run ARCA cars here, but I've run the Xfinity, or I guess it's O'Reilly's now, car here once before, and maybe a couple of drivers playing a little Waylon Jennings, just some good old boys as they go over that hill that you mentioned. They don't play their cards right. You can see there the point standings. First look at those here on the evening. Mark Whitley leading in the Pro Division. Bobby Bender leading in the AM division, actually in a tie with Thaddeus Friel Jr.
Yep.
And a pretty tight battle there as well in the points between both series, especially on that AM side. And no, we've got a few more AM drivers in the field than in that Pro division. So expected that it is going to be a tighter battle. But Bradley, we've got these drivers completing their qualifying runs, and we have got a pole award to hand out here this evening, the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. Since forming in 2013, JAM has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They've been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community. And starting on that pole here this evening is going to be the 018 Peyton Hubbard. First pole on the season for him. Looking to try to get that first win here this evening as well. And to his outside, one of those Pro Division winners on this evening, on the season rather, Mark Whitley rolling off in P2. On the second row behind them, you've got Trevor Dyer and Riley Marabello starting in the 3rd and 4th positions. This is where the AM division is going to kick off here this evening in row number 3. Corinne Smith, Skylar Daly starting in row number 3, 5th and 6th. Rolling off in 7th this evening is going to be Jake Ellingson with Sean Kaiser in 8th. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be Dave Calvert in 9th and Barry Stevens in the 10th position.
Brandon Wallace going to start in the 11th spot, 8th in the Pro Division. Then you have Chris Bargetzi going to start 12th, 4th overall in the AM class. David Calvert and Dawson Delaney will start side by side for row number 7. And you have row number 8 with J.R. Schomburg. Jerry Ward will start in 16th. Ronnie J. Morrison, 17th position, with Nicholas Myers in 18th. In that top 20 with Mike Swartzen. Ashton Osorio Nolan will start 20th.
Starting in 21st here this evening, Thaddeus Friel Jr. with Justin Klein in 22nd. Rolling off in 23rd is going to be Joshua Thornton. And in 24th is going to be Alan Bergen. Rolling off in the 25th position here this evening, Armando Melgoza, Nick Trussell to his outside in 26th. Starting in 27th is going to be Brian Frauheiger with Billy J. Sigmund in 28th. Rounding out the top 30 here, Daniel Parks and Brock Price starting in 29th and 30th. And just a quick run through on the rest of the field. Starting in the 31st position is going to be Paul Shaw with Chuck Phelps, the birthday boy, in 32nd. Rolling off in 33rd, Bobby Bender, Kevin Price to his outside in 34th. Noah Hogard, Hayden Muir starting in 35th and 36th. And rounding out the field, season opener winner Douglas Macedo in 37th. That is your full field, and we couldn't have timed that much better here, Bradley, as the field is ready to take the initial green flag here today. In control of Peyton Hubbard, green flag is out, and we are racing here at Lime Rock. As you can see the race analysis, we've got 50 laps, 4 sets of tires. We only have admin cautions here this evening. Fuel run going to be anywhere between 32 to 35 laps to be a one-stop race, and the battle for the lead is already on here early between Peyton Hubbard and Mark Whitley.
Looks like Hubbard made a little mistake. Trevor Dyer lost some positions as well. He's going to fall back. He's behind, that's Randall Morabello. So things correcting themselves side by side through the first half of this racetrack. Here comes the transition, that crest of the hill. We're going to go down and sweeping right hand and then back up over top. A lot of transition in this racetrack.
Oh, and the 25 car, I believe, was victim of that hill that you had mentioned, as well as the 022 of Nick Trussell. There's Joshua Thornton, the 2 drivers involved in that on an early first lap incident here. Let's go back and take a quick look on the V-Speed instant replay. And, you know, you had talked about it in pre-race, Bradley, just some of these elevation changes, the way that they transition, the way that you have to try to attack this racetrack. Just not easy to do. And here you can see they're going up over that hill, and the 25 gets loose, gets tagged by, I believe that was Daniel Parks, and then actually Nick Trussell was spun in a separate incident right in that same area. All the drivers continuing on. Damage doesn't look to be too severe for them. But up here at the front of the field, Mark Whitley has opened up his gap to about a second over Peyton Hubbard here. And so far, these drivers kind of minding their P's and Q's here early on, just trying to give a little bit of extra room, being quite magnanimous with the room that they're giving here this evening.
Yeah, and it's single files out quickly here. You have to focus on one pass at a time. There's no reason to say, okay, I'm back here in 5th. I need to get up to the top 3 right now. We're riding around with Jake Ellison right now. He's thinking, okay, I've got Skylar Daly. I'm sitting 5th overall in the pro class. Skylar Daly's not in position, but I am going to try to pass this one car and get up there and race with these pro drivers. So you can't pass Wiley Marabello until you get around Skylar Daly. You can't pass Skylar Daly until you get around Jake Ellison. There's no reason to get that far ahead of yourself. You might lose the entire race if you premeditate 5 or 6 positions.
Yes, Ellingson looking to the inside here of Skylar Daly, and Skylar going to yield that position. And with that arc that he took into the turn, like you mentioned, that actually allows Corinne Smith to close right up on the back bumper of Skylar Daly. And that is the battle for the AM division lead right now between those two. So, I mean, I like what Skylar Daly was doing. That's not a battle for a division position. you're still the leader of the division, but with the way that he yielded that, it just puts a lot of pressure on him. And now the heat is on from the 10 car of Corinne Smith.
Actually, problems back here from Myers off the racetrack, and the 469 machine is actually labeled as the 969. Sorry, and so actually back here with Myers in 17th. Not sure if it was an off track or if they had help.
Yeah, let's take a quick look on the replay, and that was just getting a little too far out wide. Got those right side tires off into the grass on the entry of that turn, and around the car goes. And that's probably the most challenging aspect of this course. For the stock car fans out there, you're used to seeing races at like a Watkins Glen or Circuit of the Americas, tracks that you have quite a bit of paved runoff area, but as you can see here, you just don't really have that with Lime Rock. If you put a tire out of place, in all likelihood, you're going in the grass and you're going to spin out.
Thaddeus Rule Jr., who's tied in the points lead, struggling here today. 11th in the AM class, all the way back 19th on the racetrack. He has
there's an incident up front with the 03 of Brian Frauheiger and the 18 of Peyton Hubbard, the 018. That cost Hubbard quite a bit of time there. Sorry, Bradley, not to cut you off, but that incident involving one of our front runners here, Frauheiger had just gone a lap down to the race leader, Mark Whitley. So you can see they're thinking about 3 wide there. And Frauheiger gets in just a little bit hard into turn number 1, spins, and that actually, I believe, Riley Marabello in second place got a piece of that as well. So not an ideal start here for either of those two drivers. And while we were talking about that, the 10 of Corinne Smith, who was putting the pressure on to take that AM division lead, she actually had a spin as well. Looked like it was maybe a self-spin out of the 10 of Corinne Smith. And it's kind of that same area where we just saw the 469 car having an issue as well. And Corinne comes up on Frauheiger there with a lot of speed, just a huge speed difference. Had to take evasive maneuvers, and around she goes. Did a nice job of actually keeping it off of the 03 there. But there is calamity all over this racetrack right now.
96 of Bobby Bender off the racetrack. Again, local cautions only, unless an admin throws a full course yellow. So, unless it's a track blocker, we're not going to see a caution flag here tonight. 7 laps in, if you made this many mistakes, there's no yellow that's going to bail you out. Nothing's guaranteed. So if you continuously make these mistakes, you can find yourself 2 or 3 laps down by the end of this race.
Absolutely correct. And one thing, these drivers do still have that fast repair in their back pocket, as they have had all season. So if you're a driver like Peyton Hubbard that got a pretty substantial amount of damage early on there, I think basically what your strategy has to be at this point is just try to tread water. You know you've got a lot of speed in the car. Just try to tread water until you can get into that pit window, which could come up relatively quickly here in just about another 10 laps or so.
Problems.
Oh, and that's going to be a harder hit to the right front for Corinne Smith, just as we put the camera on her with the issue going off track and getting into the wall. Let's take one more quick look back at that one, and yeah, that was just a car unloading on the exit of the turn there. Starts to go around, and this track proving to be quite treacherous here early on this evening.
Daniel, you know how it is at road courses. You get frustrated. You make a mistake, you lose a lot of time, and then you drive like a pissed-off teenager for the next 5 laps trying to make up for it. That's counterproductive. You end up in a worse situation, as we almost had another moment here with your pro leader going around the 03 there, Frauheiger. But like I said, you can't get in your own head. If you make a mistake and then you push the car to negate it, you're going to make more mistakes. It's going to compound that. It's going to make it worse. So I think right now for Smith, the best option right now is to just back up the corners, push those tires back to a temperature, get back into a rhythm.
Absolutely, as there's a car off track right in front of the leader, Mark Whitley. Oh, and another big issue for the 18 of Peyton Hubbard as well. The 018, I just caught it, has gone around at the crest crest of one of those hills, we've also got the 89 of Alan Bergen that is stopped off track. And I believe Peyton Hubbard is going to have to bring it down pit road to the attention of his crew after this most recent incident. Let's take a look at what happened here. He's trying to navigate a lap car. That is the 25. They make a little bit of contact there. And yeah, that to me looked like maybe somebody didn't care for the way they were getting raced.
Joshua Thornton turning the car.
I feel like I've seen that one before, but I digress. Yeah, there was a door bang there, and then yeah, I think the picture tells the tale on that one. Probably not happy with the way he was being raced. And, you know, you just talked about it, Bradley. It's easy to get frustrated. We've seen the 25 car have a few incidents, you know, nothing malicious prior to this, but you just let that frustration build, and then sometimes you get rubbed the wrong way, and that's all it really takes. But unfortunate set of circumstances there, especially for Peyton Hubbard. I mean, one of the fastest cars in practice, started on pole here this evening. Definitely not the race that he was hoping for so far. See Skylar Daly here now working around that 25 car in the 6th position overall, and with a 3.5 second lead for that AM division right now. So Skylar Daly doing exactly what he needs to do, just keeping the car clean and just trying to basically avoid all the carnage right now.
Watching Dave Calvert Sr. in 2nd position. In a lot of traffic right now, trying to get around this 03. Has the 99 of Brandon Wallace, the Pro Division driver, trying to look to the right-hand side of this 90 car. You also have the 113 of Chopper working for the 2nd spot. So if you're the 90 right now, you want to try to get around this 03 at all costs because you're losing spots. We're going to go 3 wide into 1. I don't like this.
I don't like this either, so let's go ahead and leave the camera right here. They do kind of file back down just a little bit to 2x2. And you're right, it's so difficult because you want to try to make the most time possible, but you can't put yourself into a really precarious spot. But coming up on that 03 of Frauheiger right now, and they are just, yeah, they are just trying to navigate him as best they can.
Dave Calvert just lost 3 spots because he's trying to navigate that. So he's going to fall back to 5th. In that situation, the 03, in my opinion, should get out of the way. The 03 should let those guys race. He's 3 laps down.
I would tend to agree with you there, Bradley. You would like to see a lapped car kind of yield a little bit quicker and maybe on the straightaway to the lead lap cars. But again, that's another challenge with this track is there's just not a whole lot of room to get out of the way. Sometimes you're trying to do so, you're trying to move over and you end up slowing people down a little bit more. So it's definitely a balancing act that you have to play with that. And as it stands right now, it is proving to be a challenge here. But while things have single filed out just a little bit, while we have a moment, Bradley, what do you say we go ahead and thank one of our sponsors, being the title sponsor of the series, Alexander PCs. And Alexander PCs is a custom and gaming PC builder who has been building and modding systems since 2002. They're veteran-owned and operated family business, and all of the team members' support and production are U.S.-based. All desktop PCs come with an industry-best lifetime limited warranty and service guarantee. Work, play, conquer. Alexander PCs. We appreciate their support of everything here at Goat Locker, including this series. Figure while we had a moment before all hell broke loose again, that might be a good time to thank one of our sponsors there, Bradley.
Yeah, perfect timing. And now I think we're talking to Brandon Wallace. He's probably thanking the 03 there for a little bit. He's able to pick up some ground on Sean Kaser and Skylar Daly in between.
Oh, and the 25 just went around again of Thornton. I believe that was right near that battle that we saw. Oh, that looked like the 71 of Daniel Parks got into the back of Calvert and spins him around. Doesn't look like any damage for the 90 car, but loses a ton of ground there. So go back and check the instant replay here on this one. This is the first incident involving the 25. And he just kind of loses it on his own there. And the 92 of Marabello is around now. Let's go ahead and take one quick look at this incident. Parks gets in just a little bit hot there. Calvert maybe trying to check up in anticipation of that 25 car that spun in front of him, just to try to give a little bit of extra room. And the contact between the two. And then, our second place car, the 92 of Marabello, he just went around a moment ago. Didn't quite catch if it was a self-spin or what may have happened. Take a quick look at this one. He's working around the outside of Froheiger, and oh no, that definitely was not a self-spin. The 03 of Froheiger contacts with the 92, and Marabello goes around. Still running into third position for his division right now. So you can see there, the race leader, Mark Whitley, I mean, he is just absolutely checked out with everything that's happened here. And, you know, sometimes you just got to do exactly what he's doing. Yeah. And he's not put the car out of place. He's been able to avoid all the calamities so far this evening. But even with a 13-second lead at this track being about a quarter of the track, I mean, he's still got to be holding his breath whenever he's coming up on this lap traffic.
Absolutely. And like right there, prime example, right on cue. I don't know what it is about you, Daniel, that you're able to
ask it, you shall receive
into existence. But Mark Whitley just had oh no. We're gonna move on from that, right? Like that didn't happen. Forget all about it.
That one was not a Code Brown moment just yet, but much closer than that, we might be talking about one as he gets around the 80 of Kevin Price here. Navigates around him. But yeah, I mean, you're right, Bradley. No sooner than I mentioned it and it happened, and somebody spins right in front of him. So
sometimes
he's
you don't even get the sentence out.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I just have a gift. I think to this point, you're about the only person that's ever broken my commentator curse. But a little further back, the 113 car of Schomburg, big contact there. Saw quite a bit of damage on that car.
Through three.
Yeah, we've been talking about a track blocker, not quite there yet, and all of this with Mark Whitley closing in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe you should say that everything's going to be great for Whitley from here on out.
I think he's screwed no matter what I say about him. If he's watching the broadcast in the background, he's probably thinking, get the camera off of me and talk about somebody else for a minute. So
13 around again.
Yeah, noses it into the tire barrier there. Nobody else collected with him, able to get it backed up and get it going again. I think that was the good God, look at this look at this traffic jam they've got there going through turns 2 and 3. And oh yeah, it starts with a hit to the back of the 28 car of Stevens there. You see the 41 is involved in that. Calvert gets a piece. A couple other drivers involved. Peyton Hubbard sneaking his way through again. He is, man, he has had an eventful evening so far.
I think Peyton Hubbard handled that new chicane in turn 3 pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a joker lap if I've ever seen one, but he did a great job getting through it. We've got a huge battle for the second place brewing right now. There is just about a 3-car battle going on between Dyer, who is running a modified out there, I think, Marabello, and Jake Ellingson. Jake probably wishes that I wouldn't talk about him either. He's snake bit enough without me putting the broadcaster curse on him. But these 3 drivers all under a blanket right now, and shout out to Dyer hanging on with that damage. I mean, that car has got to be handling horrible right now.
And he makes contact, with the 92 there. Ellingson's going to get by after that kind of move out of the way. He's doing a fantastic job. Now under fire, going to bring it down pit road.
I think that is the wise decision. He is in the pit window. He's probably thinking, all right, I lost my track position. And you can see that right front tire. I don't know how in the world he was steering that thing. That thing is definitely got the toe out of it just a little bit. But he's going to bring it down to the pit crew, and through the magic of the fast repair, it's like nothing ever happened. He will be good to go to the end on fuel and tires from here. But up front, it is all Mark Whitley in the 74 machine. Still with a 20-second lead. See Brandon Wallace in the crash test dummy car there. That might be fitting for a few drivers on the field here this evening. in that 99 car there. But Brandon Wallace, somehow one of the drivers who hasn't hit anything out there this evening, and doing a nice job as Peyton Hubbard now closing in for position on the 99.
Peyton Hubbard, another one of those drivers that had the faster barriers recovered decently. Caught up in some lap traffic, and now to the left-hand side up over the crest. That is brave. Brandon Wallace is not going to contest that. A bad exit there to turn 6. So come down the hill on the start-finish line. Gotta wonder, I would say probably if you're Mark Whitley, you're aiming for around lap 25, 26. You really have no reason to go much further than that. You have a pretty big sizable lead, 20 seconds. So he can dictate his own race. He's shown that he has the pace to win this overall and in the pro class. And with 2 wins already, I see no reason why Whitley can't go back-to-back.
Completely agree. I think that is the winning strategy. That's the smart move. Just split it in half. You know what you've got to work with, keeping the tires as fresh as possible for the duration of the race as he comes up on Brandon Wallace to put him a lap down. So, yeah, those green flag pit stops should be kicking off at any time now. I didn't quite see who that was that had spun there. Was that actually Marabello?
Dyer had a problem.
Or Dyer,
well.
rather.
Black flag here, and I'm not sure if it's for speeding, exiting the pits. But they came right back around, back onto the pit road.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I could think, or possibly a blend line violation with leaving the pit lane with where the merge cone is there. So possibility for either one of those, but it looks like fine there on the exit. So yeah, I would have to think it's speeding on exit of pits for Dyer. So unfortunate there for him, but still currently, well, he's currently 8th now in the class, 2 laps down. So definitely not the result that he was hoping for after having a lot of speed early on.
Watching here with the pro class drivers, Jake Ellingson 19.7 got around per second.
Oh, and more problems for Dyer. He actually just spun and got into the tire barrier. It's like that was over right before the crest of that hill that you had been talking about, Bradley. Sorry not to interrupt you again there, but right. Just happened to catch that he had spun and nosed it into the tires. Take a look here on the instant replay. Take another look here, and just the problems compounding now for the 64 machine. And that is a really peculiar place to lose the car. Yeah, I think you're 100% right on that. Just pushing a little too hard with no heat in the tires. And that was something I did hear a few of the drivers saying pre-race. Just first couple of laps until you get some heat into them, it's like driving on ice out there, which I think a lot of the people at home here recently can relate to some of the weather we've had.
Here it is. There's some ice. You see the drift out of turn 7.
Yeah, right in front of Mark Whitley was another driver stopped off track just to driver's left. So yeah, the treacherous situation continues here. Just not safe around any turn here this evening, but so far Whitley doing the best job of managing that. There's a new driver in 3rd place now in that pro division. Sean Kaiser, haven't really talked about him here this evening. He's just kind of hanging on, doing what he needs to do to maintain that position, 26 seconds behind Mark Whitley. And you know what, Bradley, you ain't gonna believe this. You didn't have the camera on him, but as soon as I was just talking about Sean Kaiser, he just spun out. So yeah, the streak continues. We'll put it that way. I mean, no sooner than I got the damn sentence out. I think he did too, but yeah, we'll go back and take a look at the replay. That is Dyer coming up, trying to make up some ground on track after that. And yeah, he definitely got some help there from the 64 car. Able to maintain 3rd position for now. Damage doesn't look too severe on that car, so should still have some pretty decent pace in it, all things considered after that. But yeah, lost quite a bit of time with that spin.
Fast forward position there out of the final corner. Jerry Ward got around Kareem Smith and will move to the 6th position in the AM class. The all blue 072 is going to pick up two positions from where they began this race. And back
That one
around
was on
here
you,
for Smith.
Bradley.
Yeah,
That one was on
mean
you.
to do that. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, see, so I'm not the only one that does broadcaster curses
black
around here.
flag
I
for
would just
Jacob
like to point that
Ellingson.
out.
Second
Oh,
place
no.
driver.
That is definitely unfortunate for Jake Ellingson. He has been snake bitten so much this season. Looks like a speeding entering the pit lane penalty for Jake Ellingson there. And also just a little bit of housekeeping here. The 64 of Dyer was awarded a black flag drive-through penalty for that hit to the back of Sean Kaiser. So he was penalized for aggressive driving on that move. And that is definitely going to hurt the cause a little bit more for him here this evening. But up at the front, Mark Whitley, he's gotten his pit stop out of the way. He does have about a 15 or 16 second lead now over Marabello in the second position as Peyton Hubbard coming back down pit road, taking another stop here, it looks like. Actually, no, I apologize. It looks like he may have just had an incident on track potentially. But regardless, not the night that the 18 of Hubbard was hoping for. Is he is actually, in fact, back on pit road, having to make it a two-stop strategy from where he had to pit earlier with that damage. He'll come back out on the track.
I think Hubbard still pulls the top 5 here in the pro class for this.
Yeah, just having raced with him before and knowing the speed that he has on road courses, I think that is a possibility here for him this evening. Possibly even top 5 overall in the race, just depending on how things play out. So, yeah, definitely not the night that some of these drivers were hoping for, but
okay,
be a little
connection error. I thought that Riley Marabello had a problem that just blinked out there for a moment. I watched the timing and scoring and saw a second place driver disappear all the way to 18th, and I thought there was an issue.
good to go for now. No issues on track, like you had said. Just a little connection issue there that'll sometimes throw our timing and scoring for a bit of a loop. But all good on that aspect. So see 2 drivers on pit road there. That is Brandon Wallace and Daniel Parks coming down for their one and only scheduled green flag stop here this evening. So Bradley, while these drivers are finishing up their pit cycles, let's go ahead and thank another one of our great league sponsors while we have a moment, GTR Simulators. GTR Simulator is a leader in professional grade racing and flight simulators. They deliver immersive real-world experience trusted by racers, pilots, educators, and entertainment venues worldwide. From home setups to commercial and training solutions, GTR Simulator puts you in the driver's seat. We do have a special discount for Goat Locker Racing in the shop tab at goatlockerracing.org as well. So make sure to check them out and take advantage of that discount code as well.
Lap times, and we don't have a valid lap the last time live for Riley Marabello, but it looked like last time it shaved off a little bit of time to Mark Whitley. Matching the pace here, 92 car, definitely a second place car, but is there enough time with only 21 laps to go for the 92 to get there? And with this lap traffic, 3 wide through turn 2.
3 wide through there, that is a bold maneuver, but they make it work. Marabello now going to come up on the 25 car of Thornton and try to work his way around him as well. I think that's the big variable, is just who catches a lap car in the wrong place, the wrong time, and is able to manage that the best. That's going to decide if anybody is able to close this gap to Mark Whitley. As you can see, just through that section of turns there, Marabello actually lost about 2 or so seconds to the race leader, Mark Whitley.
Something else that we failed to mention here. Skylar Daly lost the lead. Remember how large that lead was? Chris Bargetzi has gotten by. However, Bargetzi has not taken a pit stop yet.
I like it. Throw something a little different out there on the strategy. Have those fresher tires for the end of the race. Now, Skylar Daly is only about 6 or so seconds. Or no, I'm sorry. He's actually only about a half a second back. I beg your pardon now as they work through some of this lap traffic, starting to close that gap down just a little bit. Is that Swartzen down in the grass and almost gets into Peyton Hubbard. Skylar Daly there as well. And they are all able to get through it relatively cleanly. That could have been another big moment there, but everybody, for the most part, gets through it unscathed. Just a little bit of door banging there down into turn number 1. That could have been a lot worse.
I'm actually looking for the car number on that. It's labeled as the 98. Let's see if I can take this back.
That is the 935 for Swartz. Take a look here. This is coming onto the front straightaway, and like he's just trying to get out of the way at first, and then maybe just misjudges it, trying to get back over and get to the outside. But man, that is a heck of a save. That is not something that you see very often. Does end up going into the grass outside of turn 1 there, but yeah, it looked like he was just trying to get back to the outside, maybe to let some of these faster cars go once they got down into turn 1. Misjudges it just a little, and just a little bit of contact there, but great job of hanging on to it, all things considered there. And everybody able to continue on for now. She talked about Chris Bargetzi was leading that AM division. He has yielded the lead to Skylar Daly. Brock Price now in second place in the AM division. Daniel Parks in third. Bargetzi dropping back just a little bit. Corinne Smith back on pit road here. And another driver that got on that two-stop strategy, had that incident earlier on in the race, had to come down a little bit outside of the pit window. And now just trying to salvage what she can out of the evening here. It looked like the 41 of David Calvert actually just went around as well. Saw a lot of smoke. Oh, and the 71 of Daniel Parks just absolutely demolished the front end of his car at the top of the hill. And there was 2 more cars coming right at him, but I think everybody else got through it clean there. Nobody else collected, but that one could have been another race ender for somebody. There's the 41 at Calvert. Talked about that incident just a second ago. He's the first one to self-spin there. And here is the hold your breath hill here, we'll call it. Gets to the top of the hill, and oh my God, what a hit. And I couldn't tell who that was. I think that might have been Bargetzi that was actually right there behind, that just barely missed this.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. Hope you got good reflexes or a whole lot of luck, one or the other, because you cannot see anything like you saw there. You can't see anything coming up over that hill. The next thing you know, you just see somebody spinning like a top right there in front of you. So good job getting through that. Everybody keeps it going. Aside from the 71, everybody keeps it going for now. Taking a look a little further back here, there's Marabello trying to get around the 64 of Dyer. 2 drivers that were running up in those podium positions earlier, but you know, we've kind of talked about the night that Dyer has had, just not going in his favor. And Marabello was, they were battling for position for quite a while there earlier on.
Oh, the 92.
Oh, he's in the wall. Oh my gosh, and that is big damage to the front of the 92. That may require a trip down pit lane. Heavy damage to the front of that car. And yeah, he is just hanging on for, oh my God. Oh my God.
I guess I was just about to make the comparison of this race to a roulette wheel. Maybe this is more of a Russian roulette.
I think you might be right, frankly. You know what? I shouldn't really laugh, because I know how frustrating that's got to be when you're in a position, you know you've got the speed. He's had a really solid night up to this point. But if you're going to go out in a blaze of glory, that's the way to do it. He didn't take anybody else with him. He did it at a part of the track, and he alt F4'd pretty quick after he did it. So he made sure to not take any civilians with him in the process.
There's
Look at this. Yeah, as soon as he made contact, he had the Alt F4 keyed up in pretty short order there.
We see everything here on V-Speed. Everything.
We definitely don't miss a thing here on V-Speed for sure. So speaking of not missing a thing, another thing that you won't want to miss here around Goat Locker is Sean Kaiser takes the road less traveled there. But hey, why not get a Joker lap in here every now and then?
There's
as he gets hit by the 28, that Stevens makes contact with him.
He's a lap down in 6th in the pro class right now, but I think he's looking to get one of those laps back.
That is not where I was going with speaking of don't missing a thing, but man, that was a good segue for what we just saw there. But speaking of not missing a thing, you won't want to miss Goat Talk Live. That is another one of our sponsors that we have here this evening. Goat Talk is more than just a show. It is a platform dedicated to supporting our nation's heroes. Through engaging conversations, Goat Talk spotlights the impactful work GLR does to build community and camaraderie through their iRacing leagues. Each week, hang out with the GLR crew for incredible stories, sim racing action, and a celebration of the spirit of service and community. Don't miss your chance to connect with the people driving change and supporting those who have served. And they're also supported on that ATYL Media Network, another one of our sponsors here. We appreciate them supporting that as well. So, yeah, there might be a little bit of talk on Go Talk this week about how some of this racing is played out here. I almost feel like we need to have, like, I want to call it a highlight reel, but it might be more of a blooper reel that we need to clip together from this race, Bradley. Yeah, it absolutely can. There is no substitute for seat time, and racing around faster drivers will indeed make you a faster driver as well. And it's one of the really cool things with this Pro-Am split. And yeah, I mean, the Am division itself is the most competitive that we've seen it since they did this split. In previous seasons, it's been about a 50-50 split. This season, it's probably closer to about a 2 or 3 to 1 with Am drivers compared to the Pro drivers. And, you know, we've even talked about a little bit over on the East Series, where I've been for the majority of this season, that a win may not even necessarily lock you into that Am division playoff. You know, we still do the win and you're in here like they did in real life. Thank God got rid of over in real life NASCAR. But with as many drivers as there are, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility to see 9 winners and somebody wins a race and doesn't make the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, as see Sean Kaiser here trying to get around the 25 car, and they are going to navigate around Dyer as well, who is still not having a fun time out there right now. Another little off-track excursion there for him, but Kaiser was pretty close to the back of Thornton there in that 25 car. And yeah, Sean giving a lot of grace right there, as he does get a run down the main straightaway, gets around the 25 of Thornton, coming up on Justin Klein there as well in the 721, and Klein is doing his best to give him room, maybe gave just a touch more room than he needed, gets it in the grass, but gets it pointed back in the correct direction here, and keeping it rolling here this evening. And yeah, I mean, that's another part of it. You know, we've been talking about seat time. The biggest thing is just trying to complete as many laps as possible, as that is the race leader, Mark Whitley, now trying to get around the 25. And he's finding it a little difficult to get around Thornton here as well.
Yeah, I think patience are going to wear out. Thornton is blocking. I don't know if he's doing it intentionally. A lot of damage on the front end of that car. Might not be in control of it. But I don't think I would want to block the leader out of this corner. If you make it hard to get there, let's just say stay to the left-hand side, let the 74 by, or you might not make it another lap.
Yeah, very wise decision. And really, that long front straightaway is about the safest place to pull aside and let somebody by that is faster than you. So, and I'm with you. He may not have been intentionally changing the line there. There is quite a bit of damage on the front end of that machine. I can only imagine that it is not exactly driving the best right now. So, yeah, just trying to get out of the way. Yeah, I would say it's not driving very well when you're over there doing a little bit of landscaping. So, yeah, but to his credit, still trying to complete as many laps as he can here this evening, as we're down inside of 10 laps to go here at Lime Rock Park. And Jake Ellingson now coming up on the 25, or I'm sorry, that's not Jake Ellingson, that is Skylar Daly. Two cars painted pretty similarly there with the black and red and white. Skylar Daly still leading that AM division. Got a 20-second lead over Price in the 43. Gets to the inside and navigates safely there around. And yeah, really solid run here for Skylar Daly, leading that AM division right where he's been for most of the night, and 4th overall on the race as well. So even just outside of his own division, a really strong showing here for the 22 car this evening.
And Daniel, you had information there on the ARCA East side of things. So we have a few viewers asking questions about that, talking about in Discord, and I think that Ray Ellingson did address that. But go ahead and announce there exactly what the issue was.
Yeah, so unfortunately we were not able to cover the ARCA East Series tonight due to some technical issues. Not even really technical issues, it's just an internet outage is the reason for that for our normal producer and co-commentator over there. So unfortunately we do just have the West Series broadcast. Y'all are stuck with me over here in the West. You don't get rid of me that easily. The last update that I did receive from Race Control over in the East Series is that Wesley Burke was leading Samuel Joseph by about 4.5 seconds. Burke's still in the lead with 5 laps to go over there, as we just saw on screen. Barghetti with a huge hit to the tire barrier there, and that is pretty severe damage for that machine. Let's go back and take a quick look on the replay here, kind of that hold your breath hill.
Yeah.
That is that's about as close to a night ender as you can get right there. That was a massive hit to that tire barrier, and a couple of times that we've seen it, the way that the car just reacts with that tire barrier just shoots it right back out into traffic. I mean, we've been fortunate to this point that really nobody else has gotten caught up in those incidents. They've been single cars, so definitely could be substantially worse in that aspect, but to this point, everybody doing a good job of navigating those. So we're now down to 5 laps to go here at Lime Rock. So let's go ahead and get one more of our sponsor thank yous in here for the evening. As we get down to the end of this race, we want to give a shout out to InVets for one of our great sponsors here at Goat Locker. And InVets aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. They've been a really big supporter here at Goat Locker, a longtime supporter, and we appreciate all of their support here for everything we do. As you can see it there on your screen, the 25 of Thornton, he has got to be about ready to get these last 4 laps over and done with. That front bumper looks like it's about ready to call it a night here, as well as at Toyota nose bouncing around just a little bit there, but still somehow attached to the front of the car. That's a new damage aspect that I don't think I've really seen before on these things, Bradley.
Yeah, the pieces of these ARCA cars with the new damage model, and you can see these parts actually fly off of these cars. The hood will fly up. I mean, that bumper is holding on, but maybe one more touch into the wall, it's going to fly off and become debris. You know, we won't have any debris cautions here, thankfully. If we did, I'm sure that the yellow would have flew much sooner in this race. Yeah, the damage model in this ARCA car, they've done a fantastic job, and it's a little bit more immersion you see here on the iRacing series.
Yeah, then you even get a little bit of a laugh track out of it when you got somebody that just says, all right, my night's over. I'm just going to send it into the wall and Alt F4. You can still see the parts and pieces flying off before he did. So, yeah, thank you, iRacing, for that damage model update to at least give us a little bit of a laugh here with some things. It's 2 laps to go. Mark Whitley, an almost 40-second lead over the 0-18 of Peyton Hubbard. What a recovery for him. Back from the 2 pit stop strategy that he got kind of forced onto with the earlier incidents that we saw. So good recovery. I know it's not the night that he was hoping for, but yeah, definitely got to be hoping for something a little bit different here this evening. But 27 of Jake Ellingson and the 64, I think, of Dyer may have just had a bit of an incident. Didn't quite catch what happened. It looks like they're both still rolling. Wasn't sure if something may have happened or if there was contact between the 2 of them, but at either rate, looks like they're both able to kind of continue on here. So quite sure what may have happened between the 2 of them, but white flag is in the air, presented by Glove Station. Quality gloves and protective gear to get you across the finish line. Mark Whitley just a lap away from securing yet another win on the season in what has been another really strong ARCA season here for him. One of those drivers that established himself as a perennial favorite in pretty much every series that he races here in Goat Locker, winning on a weekly basis, it seems like. Gets through the, like I said, we'll call it the hold your breath hill there as he navigates his way back onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag in the air. Mark Whitley is going to bring home your overall win here this evening. And keeping a look here at the standings for the AM division, Skylar Daly, he brings it on to the front straightaway here as well. Skylar Daly finishing 4th overall in the race. He is going to be your AM division winner, and just a really strong run from him here this evening as well. I know there's got to be some drivers that are saying, thank God this one's over. This was a challenge for a few of them here this evening. But credit where it's due. We didn't really lose a whole lot of drivers throughout the race, relatively speaking. Everybody kind of sticking with it and trying to get as many laps as they can in here.
It was very competitive there, especially amongst the pro class. You know, tightening up here. Jake Ellingson having the problems midway with that black flag on pit road. Probably was going to be a podium finisher. Peyton Hubbard, who had to recover. Sean Kaser, who had that incident with contact earlier in the race, recovering back to the podium. So in the pro class, for only 10 drivers, it was never decided.
No, there was quite a bit of battling going on there, even with it just being the 10 pro drivers here this evening. As you can see, Mark Whitley burning it down, your overall division winner. I guess Skylar Daly figured, yeah, you know what, screw it. I've kept this thing clean all evening. I might as well put it in the fence at least one time. All the cool kids are doing it. So, yeah, or like you say, he's got to make sure it passes tech here at the end. So great job by both of those drivers burning it down here on the front straightaway. We are going to go ahead and take a commercial break while they finish up their celebrations. We'll be back to give you your full division results, as well as hear from our 2 division winners. We'll be right back with you here on V-Speed.
superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lime Rock Park. Going to go ahead and give you your full race results as well as hear from our winners in both the East and the West Division. Even though we didn't get that East broadcast here tonight, we still want to make sure that those winners over on that side do get their time in the spotlight here as well. Taking a look at your Pro Division first here on the West side. Race winner Mark Whitley coming home in second. Peyton Hubbard with Sean Kaiser rounding out that Pro Division podium here this evening. Jacob Ellingson comes home in fourth. Brandon Wallace with the top five on the pro side comes home in the fifth position. Barry Stevens in sixth. Trevor Dyer in seventh. Ronnie Morrison comes home in eighth. Riley Marabello in ninth. And the final finisher on the field here for the pro side is Billy Sigmund in the 10th position.
Moving on to our AM result for the West ARCA class. You have Skylar Daly with the second win of the season. Brock M. Price will finish in second spot, about 19 seconds back. Kareem Smith with a recovery on a podium finish. Congratulations to the 10 car getting the top three. David Calvert Sr. also on a recovery, the fourth spot. Chris Bardezzi, that hard hit to the inside wall within the closing lap, still able to get a top five in the AM class. Daniel Parks in sixth. Dawson Delaney finishing in seventh. Then you have J.R. Schomburg going to finish in eighth. Ninth spot going to go to Jerry Ward. And 10th position, Chuck Pegleg Phelps with a top 10 here in the AM class. Moving on to 11th, you have Paul Shaw going to finish in 11th spot. Kevin Price in 12th. Joshua Thornton with the front end about to fall off that car getting 13th. Thaddeus Friel Jr. coming in tied with the points lead. Might lose it here tonight. 14th position. Nicholas Myers going to finish in 15th. Bobby Bender in the 96. We had it on board with the 96 there at one point. 16th position. Justin Klein 17th. 18th. David Calvert. Douglas Macedo, winner at Daytona, is going to end up 19th. Mike Swardson in 20th. And then your last seven drivers to talk about with the number 78 of Melgoza going to finish in 21st. A little bit off here on my timing of scoring. I think some black flags, maybe some issues here at the end of this race. Based off what I'm reading here, we have Sario Nolan in 22nd, Bergen 23rd. Foghire is going to finish 24th. And so some of this a little bit off for me on this end of things, but Nick Trussell finishing 25th, Noah Hogar and Hayden Murr rounding out your field.
Well, that's your full race rundown. Let's go ahead and get a word from our winners here on the evening, starting with the Pro Division winner, Mark Whitley. This is Bradley and Daniel up in V-Speed booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, you took them to the woodshed tonight. You led every single lap. You started outside front row on the initial start of the race. Talk a little bit about that drive down into turn number 1 and how you were able to get the lead, because that really seemed to set the tone for the rest of the night once you were able to get that control early.
Yeah, I knew I've only run here maybe once or twice before, not very often at all. So I had to take the majority of practice just learning the track and car together. And I knew getting out into 1, if I could get somehow, either stick with them or get a little advantage, I think it was going to be good because it's just, road courses, especially one of these that are so technical, and you can't really put a wheel off because I don't know if you call it technical, but like you put one wheel off, there's no runoff, it's just grass, so you have to be really tidy. I feel like I got a really good jump on the start, like he was sleeping a little bit, and then I almost overdrove one, and we were side by side, and I was finally able to get clear of him. I think like turn 3 or 4 or something, and after that, it was just about kind of hitting your marks and be smooth. And, I knew people were going to make mistakes just because, track is so tight and there's no runoff. So I knew mistakes were going to happen and just need to make sure I wasn't the one that made them. And it seemed like, I don't know what happened back there, but he was a couple seconds back, and then I looked up again. He was like 5 seconds back. And then all of a sudden they were like 10 seconds and he was like gone. So I don't really know what happened back there, but, I was telling my spotter that my little bit of endurance racing I've done in the past really came in handy this race, because it was just like, when you're in a faster car when the other guys like in a GT3, you have to, it's a art trying to get around them guys without messing both of you up. So it kind of made me go back to my endurance racing experience, and it was kind of fun, honestly.
Well, you talked about that endurance racing experience and, of course, having the different classes with the different car speeds. It kind of leads into my second question here. So you talked about not making mistakes. It seemed like the big difference on the night was just maybe even avoiding other people's mistakes. Both yourself and Skylar Daly, the 2 division winners over here this evening, just didn't really seem to be wrong place, wrong time. So what was kind of your mindset as you were navigating lap traffic and slower cars, especially with some of the speed differences that we saw here this evening?
Yeah, it was, you just had to pick and choose. There was a couple times where I could tell I was running up on people really fast, and if I'd kept going my current speed, I was going to catch them in a really bad spot. So you just you lift early, you roll out, you try to catch them on the exit of the corner, because if you can catch them on the exit, then it kind of minimizes, you don't like stick your nose in there last minute and freak them out. And, if you get a good drive off, you can just kind of drive around them. Like the last 2 corners, those 2 were really fast right-handers. I just was back them up a little bit and just try to like turn up under them and, get a good launch. And that way it wouldn't really affect either one of us, especially off of that last corner, because you get the long front straightaway. It's just, you have to be smart. Like you said, everybody else's mistakes. I mean, the track's, like I said earlier, it's so narrow that you put a wheel off and you start, swapping back and forth and you're going to spin out. So, it's just, you had to understand where you were going to catch them, and if you didn't like that, you had to either back off or try to go a little bit harder to make sure you didn't catch them in a bad spot. But just one of those things that weirdly enough, like supercar, prototype racing transferred over to a NASCAR car, and you can almost never say that. So it just worked out. It's just it was fun doing it. It was also kind of nerve wracking, but it was just, a lot different experience than normally you have with these cars.
Well, great job on the win here this evening, your 3rd of the season so far. And I'm sure you've probably got this down to a science by now with as much as you're winning over here in Goat Locker. But before we let you go, who you want to thank or shout out for it?
Yeah, like I said, like I always say, starting off with the league sponsors, without them, we wouldn't be here. Lincoln Tech, Save 22, Alexander's PCs, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, InVets, ATYL, all them guys to help put this league on. Without them, we wouldn't be here. So it's good to see them out here. Glad to be a part of this league. And you got my own personal sponsors. Brantley over Harpoon Design. He does these awesome paint jobs, like the best in the business. If you want to you want one like this, go check him out at harpoondesign.com. He was up on the spotter stand tonight, and normally he gets bored with these road course races, but about halfway through the race, he's like, "This is probably most I've ever spotted for you on one of these tracks." He said, "It's kind of fun." I'm like, "Well, so he's a little character up there." But my other sponsor, Jawa.gg, if you're looking for a new gaming PC or just an upgrade, they got you covered over there. The number one gaming marketplace out there. All the craziness going on with the PC market right now, gaming market, is they got you covered over there. They got some great deals every week, so check them out. Then for you guys putting on a great broadcast, and they got everybody at home tuning in, makes it fun to perform out here in front of fans, and hopefully we can keep going.
All right. Well, congrats again on the win. Enjoy the off week. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Chicagoland.
That's good, guys. Take it easy.
And that's our Pro Division winner, Mark Whitley. And Bradley, I believe you are standing by with our AM Division winner, Skylar Daly.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Skylar Daly, second win on the season now, and I know it's got to be feeling pretty good. You're ranking up, you're working your way. You have 2 drivers that were ahead of you here tonight with no wins, and now you're stacking points for that playoff format. It's got to feel pretty good to get one at a road course.
It definitely feels good to get one, especially here, because I wasn't sure what I was going to expect here. Didn't think I was too fast, but I'm like, I stay steady, keep moving, and just try not to smoke the tires. That was my goal this whole race. Stay out of trouble.
Well, and you also have the situation where we talked to Whitley about it. Wrong place, wrong time for a lot of your competition here tonight. And that happened in the pro class as well. How did you navigate personally with the closing rate and some of these cars that maybe were a little off pace or made a mistake right in front of you?
For me, I know they definitely got in the way of a couple things, messed up some pace, but I was just trying to be patient. Like, I'd let off the throttle, kind of coast a little bit, get on the backstretch, and just go. Wherever there's an opening that was relatively safe, I'd take it.
And finally, Skylar, 2 wins now on the season. You're shaping up for a really good championship in this AM class. Your close competition having an off day here with Thaddeus Friel, and I know that you were looking to capitalize the most here in this week 5 race. Now moving on to next week, what do we have in store for us at Chicagoland?
We'll see. Chicagoland, it's not my favorite track, but I'm gonna get some practice in this week, and hopefully we can make something happen again.
22 car back to victory lane. Congratulations again. Anybody you have to shout out?
I want to thank Lincoln Tech, Save 22. I actually put them on my car for the race today. Alexander PCs, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, and InVets and ATYL. You guys up in the booth, and ThrottleWorks Racing.
Skylar Daly gets the win, second of the season. Congratulations. We'll see you in a week. Actually, 2 weeks. I think we have an off week here.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it.
There you have it. And, well, Daniel, we do have post-race interviews to get to for the east side of things. And you have caught up with the 0-4 winner in the pro class, ARCA East, Wesley Burke.
Yeah, definitely want to make sure we still give a shout out to those over in the East Series as well. Wesley Burke, your pro class winner over on that side. This is Bradley and Daniel up in the booth. You got us, Wesley?
He's got his mic muted. Wesley, do you got a copy with us? There he
My
is.
bad.
All good. Glad we got you up here, and congrats on the win over in the East Series here this evening. You showed your road racing prowess on the Friday Night Truck Series this past Friday at Watkins Glen, coming home with a P2 there. How's it feel to go one step higher on the podium and get yourself a road course win over here in the ARCA Series?
Been pretty good. This is my 4th podium in 4 days, so trucks, IndyCar, Xfinity, and now ARCA, so that's good. And now I'm locked into ARCA playoffs, which I needed because I didn't show up the first 3 weeks. So as long as I make the rest of the races, I'll be fine. So it felt good. It was a lot of dodging cars, I mean,
Yeah, we definitely saw some of that over here in the West Series as well. Just a lot of calamity. It sounds like it may have been similar in the East here tonight as well. Just talk a little bit about how you're able to kind of navigate that when you do have to just kind of be mindful of mistakes from drivers, and especially with the lack of runoff room at a track like this.
So I don't know if y'all have, if either one of y'all have like run endurance races, because it was a lot like that. And Mark said that, and yeah, that is exactly what it is. It was, you kind of had to lift a little bit earlier to make sure where you caught them was a good spot to catch them, so you lose as least time as possible. So
Well, great job at getting the win. Definitely on a hot streak here with all these podiums and solid finishes that you're getting. So hopefully you can continue to carry that momentum. Before we let you go here this evening, Wesley, who you want to thank, any sponsors or shout outs?
y'all for bringing me up into the West broadcast. Invets, what was it? Glove Station, Alexander PCs, uh, Zats Graphics, and everyone else at Go Locker.
All right. Well, congrats again on the win, Wesley. Enjoy the week off. We'll catch you in 2 weeks at Chicagoland.
Yep.
And we have one more driver to talk to here this evening. Bradley Cooper, you've caught up with the East Am Division winner, Samuel Yosef.
Yes, I have. And I got to say, this is the first time for me seeing it personally on that profile picture. But I got to say, that is probably the most American thing I've ever seen. So we're going to start that conversation off. Exactly. I got to ask about that first off.
So there was a Drewski skit. He's a comedian. Kind of brought a lot of drama, but he did a NASCAR skit, and I feel like that's just the perfect reflection of me when I do NASCAR. I'm just just looking like that. So yeah, that's my profile picture right there.
Right. Well, outside of that, you get a win here in the ARCA East AM class. We've asked the drivers every time how it was here tonight. We got the same answer. A lot of dodging cars, a lot of pacing yourself, the closing rate, then, drivers making mistakes in front of you, lap traffic. How did you feel that your race went here tonight at Lime Rock?
Yeah, Wesley and I, we're teammates, and we just got a really good start at the jump. And it was really just maintaining our pace for the beginning portions until the pit stops. And I think Wesley was talking about endurance racing, and I do that heavily. So I felt like this race was gonna fall into my strong suits, controlling the car, managing my tires, and running my race. The only person I really had to worry about was just McWhorter and his charge back up to the front to get the win. But as long as I maintained my pace and just didn't make any mistakes, everything came out okay.
You go back to, this is the only road course we'll have throughout the season, but it does help you in getting that playoff berth and being part of that final cut when we go on to championship and eliminate these drivers. But, Chicagoland coming up on the schedule, we got a little break. Does that confidence carry over? Does that put you kind of on that top pendulum? Do you feel like you're peaking now?
Yeah, I had a really good start to the season. I had my close finish with Patrick Fuller in Daytona. I think the only bad race I had was Atlanta, but Atlanta is Atlanta. So funny enough, I almost didn't race tonight because I wasn't that confident with my pace here at Lime Rock with the car. But I guess the last 15 minutes of practice, I kind of figured it out, and I just went out there and tried to run my race. And I think my instincts with my road racing came through, and we're in the playoffs. So I can make my charge again for a title. Hopefully my friend Charles Abert will be in there, so I can have a nice little battle with him. But yeah, we're in the playoffs, and it's gonna be smooth sailing for now.
Again, congratulations. It was a pleasure meeting you. Awesome profile picture. And I look forward to seeing more of hearing from you and what you can accomplish over in the east side of things. But anybody you have to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, of course, Lincoln Tech, Save 22, Alexander PCs, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, great people over there, InVets and ATYL. And also, quick shout out to Sim Racing Pride with the podium finish, and all my endurance friends out at Angler Racing. Buster, I see you in the chat. I appreciate you shouting me out, man.
Yeah, you're number one fan, I do believe. So, that's, hey, that's good. That's good. I mean, I think the last 5 minutes of chat have been nothing but him shouting you out. So, yeah, that's going to go into the history books here at V-Speed.
And I hate to steal Bradley's thunder on his own interview here, but is that the same person that said he was going to get a tattoo if you won a couple weeks ago?
No, that's Timbo. This one.
Okay.
This is the one that asked Logan if he can get gloves sent to Scotland.
Okay, yeah, I remember that one too, but I remembered the tattoo more than anything, and I'm like, I wonder if that offer is still on the table, but yeah, maybe a little late for that.
Too late.
It says it's a cult over there in the ARCA East. I don't know anything about this, so I'm outside the loop on that. But I mean, based off the profile picture, doesn't surprise me.
Nah, it's all good, guys, but I appreciate it.
There you have it. Race winner in the AM class in the ARCA East, Samuel Yosef. And I mean, that's going to do it for us here. That's a week off, and I mean, awesome. I mean, I know that there was some calamity, there was some chaos, there was some unpredictable things happening in this race, Daniel, but overall, it was an excellent race. A lot of action.
Yeah, it really was. And I think the off week is perfectly timed here. Some of these drivers probably need a week off to recover from the concussions that they experienced here at Lime Rock this evening. Some people may need the week off to just recover from a hangover from the Daytona 500. Whatever the reason is, you've got the extra week off. And next time we are here, going to one of my favorite tracks on the service, that is Chicagoland. I'm going to have to watch Blues Brothers at some point between now and then out in Joliet, Illinois. I mean, I've been out there before to that track. One of the best movies ever made, by the way. I don't know if you feel the same way or not, Bradley, but whether you do or not, it's still the case. But I'm looking forward to this one. These drivers are going to put on a great show out there. And as always, we will bring you every lap of the action live right here on V-Speed, as well as the rest of this season. Playoffs are getting close. We're already about halfway through that regular season. Still got quite a bit of racing here ahead of us. But that is going to do it for our coverage here this evening. So on behalf of Patrick Drabick, Jamie Barkis, and everybody at Goat Locker Racing, as well as everybody at V-Speed, Adam Baker, Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, and my colleague up here this evening, Bradley Cooper, as well as those Dougie Beard cameras. My name's Daniel Cunningham. Again, next week we are off, but join us right back here in 2 weeks as we head to Joliet, Illinois to take on Chicagoland Speedway for race number 6 of the Alexander PC ARCA Series. Good night, everyone.